So, hi,
Hi.
my name is Kristin Gutierrez. I'm your host for Women in Localization's Ask the Expert. And today I'm here with William Spalding. Hey,
Hello. Thanks for having me.
absolutely. Tell us who you are and about yourself.
Ooh, loaded questions. I like it. Well, my name's William. I use they, them pronouns. I am a localization senior project manager at Spotify, living in New York City. I guess a little bit about my trajectory. I worked my way up in the field, starting with a small interpretation agency in Portland, Oregon. In college, got a job in a call center doing interpreter dispatching and OPI, over the phone interpretation. And then got really interested in project management and technology and shifted more into localization spaces. I guess a little bit about me. I grew up on a llama farm in Olympia, Washington, so like the home of Nirvana, and kind of the grunge scene. And yeah, lived in Portland, Oregon for a good 6 or 7 years, and then now just recently relocated to New York City just a couple years ago. And I feel like with the pandemic, I'm just now kind of getting settled and figuring out what I'm doing here.
Oh, wait. That is a lot to unpack.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up on a llama farm was interesting. I think, I grew up very close to needing to like clean clean stalls, buck hay, like all these things that I don't do in the city whatsoever, and probably won't ever do again. But I really value it. I think it taught me a lot about just like hands-on work and using some elbow grease or something.
Yeah. So you are, I don't know if it's an appropriate way to say, but like a jack of all trades in this space because you seem to have your hands in a lot of different buckets.
Yeah, I don't like jack of all trades because it might mean master of none. I like to say I've kind of figured some things out, but no, for sure. I've had like an interesting career where early on I started with a small agency that was fairly young in its maturity. And I had unique opportunities to work on things like developing proprietary tooling, working with engineers as like a very junior professional, kind of coming up with user stories and feature concepts and enhancements, and working with a web engineer to build this. And it was a scheduling portal. And so through that, I got really into like technology, and I've kind of just carved my way into the product localization space. So I do specialize when localizing like software apps and product UI. But yeah, I have this also kind of other side where I've done some product management. I've worked within like the interpretation and language access space in healthcare and legal. I've done a lot of like marketing things, working on the agency side, as well as unique, just like kind of tooling things, working, within tech companies. So yeah, there's definitely a wide range of skills I've been able to kind of nurture and develop. I think my main focus lately has been really like honing program management skills, being able to work with teams and establish like horizontal kind of structures that others can leverage, and disseminating information and distributing work. And so I'm getting more into that space currently.
Yeah, great. So it's so fascinating doing these interviews because I learned so much, and no one has the same career path as to
Yeah.
where they are today for how they got there. So as you look across your career history and all of your things you've done, what's some lessons learned that you would want to just like bring
Yeah.
out?
I guess one lesson that I like to keep close to heart is like always assume best intentions of others. I think, being in like service-oriented roles, it can be hard to have things kind of piled on, and it feels like things are dumped over the fence. So I just assume best intentions, and as well as with colleagues and stakeholders, when issues might come up or conflict and how to resolve something. yeah, I think we're all just trying to do our best and get work done and have a good outcome of our work. So assuming best intentions is a big one. I've also found just being really like raw and honest and transparent helps so much. I worked in an organization that tried to like kind of hide realities from customers, and it ultimately resulted in more problems. There was a lack of understanding and due to a lack of transparency, and it created distrust. So I've found that just being really honest and transparent in the realities we're navigating can lead to a new level of understanding within the relationship that's happening. Yeah,
Right.
it's so important. Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to add or about those two, or any other, because you're like, oh, always assume the best intentions and be transparent?
Yeah, no, I can add a third one there. Listen to end users, like who's using our products and how do they feel about it. I think really going to like the end of the pipeline and those who we're trying to serve, and understanding their realities working with what we're producing can give us really valuable insights into maybe the gaps we have. Of course, in localization, it's so cultural, so there's a lot of unconscious bias that we need to navigate. So really just like hearing the sentiments of users or people who are receiving and engaging with the end product, I think can really lead us to a lot of valuable insights and improvements.
Yeah. That's absolutely authentic. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us and share more about your just uniqueness.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, and like thanks for this awesome series you're doing. I think it's really cool that you're showcasing folks in the industry, and like huge shout out to women in localization. I think you're serving a really important purpose in the industry, and I love to see the work y'all are doing.
Excellent.